And now we know why they've been keeping him in the basement and why they've only let him do 2 press conferences in an entire year of his presidency, because he flies off the handle. He's always fancied himself a foreign policy expert. He's never actually been one. If you look back at the history of Joe Biden comments on foreign policy problems that the United States has had, he's been wrong almost every single time. And they gave him 2 hours to talk to the press without a teleprompter last night, Dan, and he almost launched a ground war in Europe. So he needs to go back to the basement and have somebody control his messaging until he can learn that there is no such thing as a minor incursion for any country looking at 100,000 troops on its border controlled by Vladimir Putin. And I think the Ukrainian president put it perfectly, right? There's no minor incursion. There's no minor casualties. There's no little grief when people are hurt or killed. And also, he made a point today that the foreign minister of Ukraine spoke to the Wall Street Journal saying it was wrong on another level, because we're not actually worried about a full-scale invasion so much as we are about Putin trying to destabilize Ukraine in ways like a minor incursion and other things that he might try. So in no way is it helpful to us to, with a wink and a nod, give him a green light for stuff that doesn't seem really, really big or bad, right? Because that's not the way we view it over in Ukraine. It was yet another in a long list of disasters Joe Biden self-inflicted last night.
And Megyn, this whole thing was a fascinating spectacle. I mean, I was quite gripped by it, I will admit. But he was given an opportunity, actually, within the press conference to row back on his comments. He didn't. And so we were left in this bizarre situation where US officials were having to correct the president in real time on Twitter. Oh, he didn't really mean that. But he clearly did. I mean, this is a guy who seems to want to pull out of any international situation. And we saw what he did to Afghanistan. I mean, I think it's hugely concerning. So I guess the question is it a gaffe, or is this actually where he wants to take US foreign policy, a hands-off approach?
Yes. I mean, I don't think he was lying about how he would view a minor incursion. I believe he was telling us the truth, but the gaffe was telling us the truth. The gaffe was treating a presidential press conference like it's a hit on your show or my show. Like he's some pundit, who's getting paid, to just give us his foreign policy views. He's the president of the United States. He expressed that there was division within NATO, within the Western countries about Ukraine and what the strategy should be. He should not have been disclosing that. He expressed that there were certain levels at which we would get involved and wouldn't. He sat there openly opining like, geez, it did sound like I said that, didn't I? Well, what did I really mean? I mean, you shouldn't. This is why they don't let him come in front of the microphones, because they've seen him do this a million times and they knew that it could have deadly consequences. And now the White House has spent the last 18 hours trying to clean it up. And perhaps the one benefit to Ukraine is we've now backed ourselves into such a corner here. We're going to need to come out guns blazing if Putin does anything just to make Joe Biden look like he's not a complete moron. So Putin watches all of this, right? And he tests the United States and he tests the West all the time. But I think Biden's correct that he will do something. And I'm not sure that any of us is in a better position tonight than we were before Biden took to the microphone.